Hello dear student, this is my 15th lecture on thermoanalytical methods. Myself Kanchan Vishramji Kumbhalkar, Assistant Professor, Shri Shivaji College of Arts, Commerce and Science, Akola. This is the overall syllabus. About 95% has been completed. In this lecture, we will discuss with thermometric titration. So let's start with that of the introduction of thermometric titrations. Thermometric titrations depend on measuring the heat generated during chemical reactions. Usually, the reaction takes place at room temperature under adiabatic condition. In this procedure, a titrant of a known concentration is added to a known volume of sample. The titration reaction follows the chemical equation, that is, A sample react with the B titrant, formation of a product C and liberation of heat. If the stoichiometry of this reaction is 1:1 ratio, then if you are taking 1 mole of A and 1 mole of B, then 1 unit, suppose, heat is liberated. But if you are taking half mole of A and full 1 mole of titrant, then the half unit of heat is liberated. Hence, for any particular reaction, a mole of A titrated with a mole of B will generate a fixed quantity of heat, which is the heat of reaction. If there is half a mole of A present and half as much heat is generated, even if there is an excess of B, heat is generated only while A and B react with each other. An excess of either one does not cause generation of heat. The reaction is usually set up in an insulated beaker, a Dewar flask, or a Christiansen adiabatic cell. This ensures a minimum of heat loss from the system during the titration. Now, the next point is theory. In order to carry out a thermometric titration, the essential condition is that there should be a change in free energy in the end point of region. Means, for a titration purpose, the result is in the sense of end point. We know that. We are using an indicator for that purpose, which show the change in color. So similarly, in this case, in a thermometric titration, the change in free energy should be present. There should be present in the end point region. As changes in free energy, that is delta G, is related to the enthalpy, that is delta H, by this equation, that is delta H is equal to delta G plus T delta S, where delta H is nothing but a change in enthalpy, delta G is Gibbs free energy, change in Gibbs free energy, T is absolute temperature, delta S is nothing but a change in entropy. It means that a thermometric titration is only feasible when there is occur a significant enthalpy change in the end point region. Furthermore, one can find the entropy changes provided that the corresponding free energy changes are also known. For example, from stability data and stability constant, the delta G0 is equal to minus RT ln K. So on this basis, the stability constant must be known. Then you can find out easily the change in Gibbs free energy, or we can identify with that of the delta H. The enthalpy change is also given as in the sense of delta H is equal to A into delta T upon N, where delta H is in kilocalories per mole, that is change in enthalpy. Delta T is in degrees Celsius. It is a change in temperature corresponding to the formation of N moles of product. and A is apparatus constant and is equal to the effective heat capacity of the titration cell plus reactant solution. So that is depend on two things. The A depend on two things, which is known as the apparatus constant, and it is nothing but addition of effective heat capacity of titration cell plus reactant solution, and which can be indicated, it is having a unit kilocalories per degree Celsius. This is all about the theory of thermometric titration. Next point is instrumentation. In order to carry out a thermometric titration, the titrant was added continuously by means of a motor drive syringe. There is a motor drive syringe. Motor drive syringe burette into a solution contained in a thermally insulated beaker. This is insulation. This is your beaker, and this is motor stirrer, and in that the burette has been put it. The thermally insulated beaker, we know that, for example, Dewar flask, which is fitted in a mechanical stirrer. There is a mechanical stirrer is also given, which has been shown in this titration assembly. The advantage of using the Dewar flask is that the thermometric titration are carried out under adiabatic condition in order to minimize heat losses between the titrated solution and its surroundings. The temperature of solution can be read with a thermometer calibrated in 10th and 100th of degree. However, the better method to record the temperature is thermistor, which form a part of a bridge circuit and is placed in the titration vessel. So, instead of using a simple thermometer, we are using a thermistor here to give a high quality of measurement, to record a good quality as compared to the simpler thermometer. By this arrangement, one can get continuous record of unbalanced potential when the titrant is continuously added from the burette. Continuously added from that of the burette into the titration vessel. Although a large number of titration assemblies are available, for example, first some parts are given there. First one is a motor driven burette, means in that case with the help of motor the burette has been supported and continuously there is a addition, simultaneously and continuous addition of titrant takes place. Second one, a thermally insulated beaker or a Dewar flask. This is your burette, this is your Dewar flask. Next one is the thermistor bridged assembly, which record the temperature, and the last one is the recorder. This is all about the thermometric assembly, titration assembly. So basically there are various kinds of titration assemblies which are available nowadays, but the basic four components are common. First one is the burette, second one is the flask in which the burette has been adding the titrant, second one is the after addition the heat must not be ejected, so for that purpose that must be thermally insulated. For that purpose we are using a Dewar flask, and last one, the recorder. The recording takes place with the help of thermistor bridge assembly for the better result, or simply by using a high quality of thermometer, and that thermometer or the thermistor bridge assembly get the temperature change heat liberated change, and that has been recorded in a recorder. So there are basically 4 different parts which are basic or essential for the any titration assembly. So let's check out the next point is that it is the block diagram of apparatus used in thermometric titration. A block diagram of apparatus used in thermometric titration is shown in this figure. A number of modifications of this basic apparatus design have been described in recent years. Some of these modifications are as follows. First one commonly used instrument is devised by Aminco Titro Thermomat. In this, the titration vessel is located in an insulated enclosure and 2 thermistors are fed into the bridge circuit, and one measuring the titrant temperature and the other the thermal temperature of a titration vessel. Means in a previous assembly we are using only one thermistor to measure the titration solution temperature, but in this, because it is a modification, in this case there are 2 thermistors has been installed, out of which one measure the titrant temperature and one measure the temperature of titration vessel. So suppose in simple way it has been identified that the temperature of both the titrant, that is solution inside the titration vessel, as well as the temperature of titration vessel is also measured by installing one excess thermistor. This is the first modification. Second modification is made by Williams. It is a scientist name. He exploited a single thermistor and a magnetic stirrer that mixed the solution container in an inner beaker, which is thermally insulated from that of the surrounding by that of the outer beaker. The beakers are converted by the perfect slide which support the thermistor and the capillary tip of a burette. In order to maintain a constant flow, a simple constant pressure head device is employed. He also employed a Stanley F23 thermistor which is connected into one arm of Wheatstone bridge circuit, which can be get discussed in next lecture. So for this lecture this is enough. That is the introduction of thermometric titration and theory and the apparatus of thermometric titration. In next lecture we will discuss with the continuous point of instrumentation. So up to then, take care, be safe. Thank you very much.